We're going to bring this meeting to order. This is the IAC meeting of Thursday, May 31st, and we have a quorum, so we can begin. Do we have any public comment today?
Madam Chair, I don't see anybody here. Are there any public comment? I saw a few people a minute ago walk in, but it looks like they've left already.
All right, so we will then go on. Do we have any revisions to the agenda?
Madam Chair, I have no revisions to the agenda.
All right. Let's go into our regular business, the consent agenda.
Pardon me, are you here for public comment?
Oh, okay, well, come on up. Oh, yeah, we probably should have one, but thank you. Yes, and then we'll ask you to push the button to speak. And we are going to restrict comments to 3 minutes, just so you know.
Okay. All right. Hello, my name is Laura Wisely, and I'm from Elk Ridge, Maryland, in Howard County. And I wanted to actually make a request for you to not put forth funds for High School 13 at the current proposed site. I do not believe that it has supporting data that is the most appropriate site for where the children are in Howard County. The concerns revolve around this. According to the HCPSS 2017 feasibility study, the most critical overpopulation of high school students are in the northeast and the northern areas, not in the southeast where the school is being proposed. These schools include Howard, Longreach, Centennial, and Mount Hebron. The surrounding capacities of schools in the southeast are within acceptable ranges, and a renovation and expansion of seats at Hammond High School, which is in the southeast, is simultaneously being requested for 2023 at $97 million, further reducing capacity in the southeast, which is currently in the green, and I had emailed this testimony in a map last evening. The Elk Ridge planning area, which sends students to Howard High in Ellicott City and Longreach in Columbia, is the only planning area in the county without a high school, despite having 1,980 public high school students in 2016. Just under 50% of all Northeast County high school students live in Elk Ridge and drive overcrowding. Short-term housing development estimates provided by the county show that Elk Ridge has the highest number of new housing units, further expanding its future high school population. The Howard County Board of Ed chose to delay balancing capacities through redistricting in 2017 to 2018, thereby necessitating an accelerated time frame for the opening of High School 13. This time frame was used to justify for selection of the Mission Road site in Jessup because it would complete constructions only 4 months sooner than an alternative site at Troy Park in Elk Ridge, according to the Office of School Planning. The county does not own the Mission Road site, and the sale will not be final for 12 to 18 months following grading and cleanup of the property. I'm asking you that you keep communities together. I think children thrive best when they're going to school in their own community. As being 1/7 of the Howard County population, and there are going to be 13 schools, there is not a school in the northeast of Howard County. We would be shifting the entire, with this effect, we would be shifting the entire population of students continually west, driving past 1 to 2 closer high schools to go to your high school. And I don't think that is the best for our high school students. Thank you.
Any other public comment? All right, thank you. Mr. Grell, we're going to go to the consent agenda.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Madam Chair. These materials have been provided to you earlier. Are there any revisions to the consent agenda? Anything to want to pull out? Thank you, Madam Chair. You have those items before you as items A, B, C, D, and E.
Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Next
go
item
ahead.
on the agenda is the FY 2019 100% CIP approval. Joan will present, and Arabia.
Press this button, correct?
Yes.
All right. So what you have before you are the recommendations for your final decisions for the FY 2019 school construction CIP. These include funding totaling $397,284,206. Funding recommendations were made for 22 of the 24 LEAs. Kent and Garrett had no requests, and for the Maryland School for the Blind. Of the 53 planning requests, 22 projects have been recommended. This includes 4 kindergarten projects, 2 which are also recommended for full funding, and 1 large project that is recommended for partial funding. Of 193 funding requests, 133 have been recommended. These include 44 major projects, 3 K projects, kindergarten or pre-kindergarten projects. 2 were just noted for approval of planning as well. 2 science projects and 84 systemic projects, systemic renovation projects. The recommendations are based on what has been our standard assessment of eligibility of each LEA's project requests and prior approvals this fiscal year, each LEA's backlog of previously approved projects and future funding needs, and each LEA's capacity to carry out approved projects as scheduled. The IAC has traditionally maintained a balanced total of approximately $500 million for approved but not yet funded planning and partially funded construction projects to be carried forward. The total this year of what we term backlog is slightly larger at $540 million, and it's based on this year's funding authorization exceeding expectations. The decision for the recommended planning projects this year was based on their eligibility and their schedules of being ready to bid before the end of calendar year 2018. The total funding approval includes $313.9 million of new authorization, $17.861 million of the $17.875 million available in the LEA contingency reserve account. Just for your information, $14,280 for Kent County remains reserved until they have a project they'd like that to go toward. And $65.397 million of the $68.536 million in supplemental funding under the Capital Grant Program for local school systems with significant enrollment growth or relocatable classrooms, what we call the EGRC, for FY 2018 and for a small balance for FY 2016 and FY 2017. That small balance of $3.139 million is held in for use in next fiscal year for Howard and Prince George's counties. Also, $1.26 million is in the contingency reserve account. That's in the approval, and $15 million held in reserve for HVAC projects in Baltimore City. We've already started working with Baltimore City to identify those projects, and if you have any questions, Mr. Bridges is here. He's our program manager for Baltimore City, and he's available to address questions. The EGRC are distributed based on calculations to the counties listed in the chart on the top of the 3rd page of the agenda item. There have been a few changes to the recommendations that were previously discussed with you, and those that were distributed on May 1st. Arabia will review those items with you, and we can stand for any questions you might have.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joan. Good afternoon. I will quickly walk you through the changes that have occurred since you last received the designees.
You have
Push it
to
down once and then
let go.
Okay. I'm going to briefly walk you through the project recommendations you received on May 1st. If you turn to, if you would please turn to page 34 and reference Baltimore County, priorities number 7 and 8, near the bottom of the page. Lansdowne High School, limited renovation project. The Board of Education recently approved this project as a replacement school So we have changed the status from an A, approval for planning approval, to a C, status due to scope issues. We do anticipate that the LEA will come in FY '20 to seek planning approval for this project. Now, if we can move on to page 36. In Charles County, we made a minor correction to priority number 3. The current approval status shown in front of you is a B due to fiscal constraints. However, this project is being recommended for full funding this round and will be shown with the A status for approval. We will make that correction and update our PSCP website. Also on this page, Frederick County, priority number 5. The LEA resubmitted their project application with a reduced scope of work for the HVAC Phase 1 project, which decreased the estimated cost of the work. So this phase of the project is now shown as being fully funded. Next, we're going to turn to page 37, Montgomery County, priority number 8. We've made a worksheet adjustment, which increased the net state funding for this project from a little over $8 million to now $9.1 million. We anticipate that the LEA will come in FY '20 for the balance, which is a little over $1 million. And finally, on page 40, Wicomico County, we've made a minor correction to priority number 3, Beaver Run Elementary. This project was previously shown with a B status due to fiscal constraints. However, this project is being recommended for planning approval this round, and the status has been changed to an A for approval. Those are the extent of the changes that we have, and we are available for questions and comments. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Arabia. Questions for staff? Secretary Churchill.
Joan, I just have actually 2 questions. On the outline of available source funding, of the contingency funds, is it correct to understand that all contingency funds for the LEAs have been reallocated except for $400,000 that you mentioned for which county? Just want to make sure I understood that correctly.
Kent County, yes, it was $14,280 for Kent County.
14,000, okay. But all other funds in there and held in contingency have been reallocated, or proposed reallocated.
Go ahead.
Okay, there are undetermined potential CIP contingency funds.
You have to let go of the button.
There are some funds available.
Push down and then release. Yeah.
Okay. There are some funds that we anticipate being available for FY '20 CIP.
Okay, all right. But no LEA that's got a glaring pot out there.
Well, Baltimore City has a few projects in now for rescission that will be presented to you.
Okay, all right.
None now, so it's
None now. Got
a
it.
moving target in a sense.
Got it. All right, and I just want to make sure I understood, because I thought I heard that in terms of reverted fund, you mentioned 126, or 1.26 million, or is it 126,000?
Oh, the statewide contingency reserve account was .126, or 126,000.
I just wanted to make sure, I just had that corrected on
Yes.
for the record, since it was noted at 1.26 million. No, I thought I was reading incorrectly. Madam Chair, that's all I have. Thank you. Thank you
Other
for this.
questions? I just want to make a comment and thank the staff for all the work. I mean, it seems like we're just going to approve this and it's like no big deal, but we've put a lot of time and effort, and a lot of our meetings have been discussions around the proposed plan for the coming year. And I want to thank my colleagues, but also thank the staff for their good thinking, good recommendations. We have had lots and lots of discussion about this in our previous meetings. So I'd like to find if we have a motion to approve and then we'll go forward.
Madam Chair, there's a motion that is included in your books. I can read
Okay,
it if you
that would
like.
be great, thank you.
The Interagency Committee approves the fiscal year 2019 capital improvement program allocations and planning projects as specified for each school in the attached document dated May 31st, 2018, in the total amount of $397.284 million, consisting of approximately $313.9 million in new bond authorization in accordance with the Maryland Consolidated Capital Bond Loan of 2018, $17.861 million in reserve funds, $0.126 million in unreserved funds, and $65.397 million in supplemental EGRC funds, and authorizes the designees to make minor adjustments in allocations per worksheet calculations to avoid overfunding of any project.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve?
Secretary Churchill?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Madam Chair.
Our next item on the agenda is correspondence.
Madam Chair, under tab 3, we have correspondence that has been provided to you since our last meeting, and that has been provided to you prior. This is primarily about the Talbot Spring issue, and I say that's an issue. The Board of Education and the IAC staff have been working with Talbot Springs. The Board of, I'm sorry?
Are you on?
Nope, I'm not on.
Here, there you go.
Thank you. New system, I apologize.
It's okay.
So staff, there's a lot of correspondence, I was saying, that is related to the Talbot Springs projects. The request from the county was for a renovation, then it became for a new school along the way. And at this particular point, because of the evidence that we have in front of us, we had to make a recommendation for a renovation. However, that is only at the planning stage. The county has made a decision that they would like to have a replacement school, and we've worked with them, and at their May 17th, 18 meeting, they instructed their staff to work with us to restudy the feasibility information that they have provided to us, and we will continue to do that, Madam Chair. And at some future state, probably in this next year, as they plan to come forward with their construction requests, we will reconsider it as a recommendation and bring back to you.
All right, any questions about that?
Just, I had concerns about Talbot Springs. It's not before us now as a replacement school. So there's no way that the committee can approve something that's not before us.
That's correct.
I just want to make that clear. I have concerns, and I have an interest in the potential for the replacement. If it's correctly sized, then we'll do the job. I just wanted to make it clear that that issue is not before us today.
It is not.
Okay, thank you.
Very good. Thanks for that clarification. All right. Our next item on our agenda is our IAC action items, and we're going to start with Section 4, Sufficiency Standards. Mr. Gurrell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Alex Donahue, who you know, has been leading this project. It began about 9 months ago as we brought a first consideration for you. It's been in draft form since. I believe we're in our third iteration currently. Mr. Donahue, if you could please brief
Thank you.
us.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the committee.
I think you need to push it one time.
Go.
Okay.
There you are. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and thank you for this opportunity. As the manager of special projects, it has been my privilege to shepherd the development of these draft sufficiency standards through the process. And in House Bill 1783, the General Assembly required that the IAC adopt by July 1st of this year a set of educational sufficiency standards for school facilities. Because of the timing of the formation of the commission not yet being clear, this matter remains a priority for the committee in order to comply with the mandate of House Bill 1783 and to support the upcoming statewide facilities assessment pursuant to that bill. As Mr. Grohl said, last summer, in anticipation of this requirement, we began developing these standards with the committee, the MSDE curriculum and support offices, and the LEAs. We began with the circulation of a preliminary working draft for LEA feedback last year in July and August. This committee saw and reviewed the feedback and resulting revisions and approved the second draft on September 13th. We then solicited feedback from MSDE curriculum offices during the spring and made further refinements. In May, we shared a draft with the LEAs, took comments, made additional revisions, which you can see in the change log in your handout packet. In addition, this week, Secretary McCord recommended a handful of revisions to better align with HB 1783 and existing statutes, and those are visible as markups in your final version in your packet. The final version is presented for the committee's approval today under the motion proposed in the agenda item 4, and I'm happy to stand for any questions you might have.
Questions for Alex?
Can I just make a comment? Thanks for your hard work.
Absolutely.
Appreciate the effort that everyone had a chance to weigh in on, and appreciate the effort.
Thank you.
Very good. Other questions? Okay. Would you read the motion, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. Motion is to approve adoption of the proposed educational facility sufficiency standards to establish uniform standards for the assessment of physical attributes, capacity, and education suitability of public school facilities in Maryland as required by House Bill 1783, 2018 Laws of Maryland, Chapter 14. The educational facilities sufficiency standards will be utilized to complete an initial statewide facilities assessment pursuant to House Bill 1783 to be completed on or before July 1 of 2019.
All right, do we have a motion to approve? Can we approve that motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you,
Motion
ma'am.
carried. Thank you very much. And thank you, Alex, for your work on this project. I think
Thank
it's
you.
going to give us some really consistent outcomes across the state, and it's a long time coming, so thank you very much. All right, we're going to move to tab 5 for Baltimore City property transfers.
Thank you. Michael?
Okay, thank you. We have for your consideration today 3 property transfers from Baltimore City. The first one is for school number 163, Patapsco Elementary and Middle School. In June of 2013, the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners approved a resolution to close the program at Patapsco. The closure is consistent with the system-wide utilization targets approved by the IAC in December 2013 and incorporated into the city's comprehensive educational facility master plan. The CEFMP was approved by the school board in 2014. The facility has served as swing space for Cherry Hill Elementary and Middle School while a replacement school was constructed, and the new facility is anticipated to open in 2018-2019, after which the facility will no longer be needed for educational purposes. The Board of School Commissioners approved the surplusing of the school facility on December 19th of 2017.
Okay, we have a motion. Michael, you want to read the motion?
Sure. These are quite wordy just because of the requirements.
Understand.
So bear with us. The motion is to approve the transfer of the dedicated use of the Patapsco Middle and Elementary School number 163, located at 844 Roundview Road, Baltimore, Maryland, 21225, by the Baltimore City Board of Commissioners to the Mayor and City Council of Baltimore in accordance with the Building a Portfolio of Schools 2017-2018 review and recommendations approved by the BOC on December 19th, 2017, and in accordance with the Memorandum of Understanding for the Construction and Revitalization of Baltimore City Public Schools dated December 2016, with the agreement that the city government will reimburse the state the outstanding bond debt service in the amount of $315,265.20 by the scheduled dates provided by the State Treasurer's Office. The Baltimore City government shall obtain approval of the Interagency Commission before transferring any right, title, or interest to any portion of the property. The Baltimore City government shall obtain approval of the Interagency Commission before transferring any right, title, or interest to any portion of the property.
Thank you. Do I have A motion?
So moved.
Second?
A second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, the second item is for Rognell Heights Elementary and Middle School. In December of 2017, the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners approved a resolution to close the program at school number 89 Rognell Heights Elementary and Middle School at the end of the 2017-2018 school year. This closure is also consistent with the system-wide utilization targets approved by the IAC in December 2013 and incorporated into the city's EFMP. The EFMP was approved by the School Board of Commissioners in May 2014. Students in Rognell Heights Elementary and Middle School moved to the new Lyndhurst Elementary and Middle School when it opened in the spring of 2018, which means that the Rognell Heights Elementary and Middle School facility is no longer needed for educational purposes. The City Board of School Commissioners approved the surplusing of the school on December 19th, 2017.
Okay, would you read the motion?
Okay. The motion is to approve the transfer of the dedicated use of number 89 Rognell Heights Middle and Elementary School, located at 4300 Side Hill Road in Baltimore, Maryland, 21229, by the Baltimore City Board of Commissioners to the Mayor and City Council of Baltimore in accordance with the Building a Portfolio of Schools 2017-18 Review and Recommendations approved by the BOC on December 19th, 2017, and in accordance with the Memorandum of Understanding for the Construction and Revitalization of Baltimore City Public Schools dated December 2016, with the agreement that the city government will reimburse the state the outstanding bond debt service in the amount of $460,266.88 by the scheduled dates provided by the State Treasurer's Office. The Baltimore City government shall obtain approval of the Interagency Commission before transferring any right, title, or interest to any portion of the property.
Any questions? All right, I so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Final item here is for the transfer of school number 24 Westside Elementary School. In June of 2017, the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners adopted a resolution to close the educational program at Westside Elementary School. The closure is consistent with the system-wide utilization targets approved by the IAC in December 2013 and incorporated into the city's EFMP. The CEFMP was approved by the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners in May 2014. The facility has served as swing space for school number 61 John Eager Howard Elementary School while a replacement school was under construction. Students of John Eager Howard Elementary moved into a new replacement school named Dorothy I. Height Elementary School number 61 when it opened in the spring of 2018, which means that the Westside facility is no longer needed for educational purposes. The City Board of School Commissioners approved the surplusing of the school facility on December 19th, 2017.
Any questions for Michael? Would you read the motion, please?
Okay. The motion is to approve the transfer of the dedicated use of number 24 Westside Elementary School, located at 2235 North Fulton Avenue in Baltimore, Maryland, 21227, by the Baltimore City Board of Commissioners to the Mayor and City Council of Baltimore in accordance with the Building a Portfolio of Schools 2017-18 Review and Recommendations approved by the BOC on December 19th, 2017, and the Memorandum of Understanding for the Construction and Revitalization of Baltimore City Public Schools dated December 2016, with the agreement that the city government will reimburse the state the outstanding bond debt service in the amount of $954,915.85 by the scheduled dates provided by the State Treasurer's Office. The Baltimore City government shall obtain approval of the Interagency Commission before transferring any right, title, or interest to any portion of the property.
All right, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right, now we're going to move to tab 6 and have staff review the contract awards.
Carrie Wiskman will present.
Good afternoon. These were just 5 additional contract awards that we had a few paperwork review issues that could not make the original consent agenda. There's no oddities in the procurement, just standard contracts.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah, I know, I'm just looking through. All right, do we have a motion to approve the contract procurements?
I move that we approve the contract procurements as noted under the item.
I will second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All
Thank
right,
you, Madam Chair. That concludes your meeting.
thank you.
This will be the final meeting of the Interagency Committee. When we convene next, it will be the Interagency Commission. There'll be 4 new members, 2 from the governor, 2 from the legislature, that will expand the committee to the commission.
Well, it's been very nice working with all of you. I assume we'll see each other again on the new commission. And I think we have a first meeting scheduled, do we?
We have a tentative schedule of June 13th.
Correct.
Of course, we'll need to review that with the new members to see if that will work for them.
All right.
And we will be in this location as well.
That's
And thank you
correct.
for accommodating us.
You're very welcome. All right, we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you all very much.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
All right.